She has always claimed that I am the one. I laughed because the boy is not my son. There is a certain kind of silence that follows a lie repeated too many times. Not the silence of peace. Not the silence of understanding. The kind that sits in a room like cigarette smoke after a fight. Thick. Bitter. Lingering long after everyone pretends to move on. That was the kind of silence hanging over the restaurant the night she looked me directly in the eyes and said the words that almost made me choke on my drink. You know he's yours. I laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was absurd. Completely ridiculous. The soft jazz music floating through the restaurant suddenly sounded distant. Forks clinked against ceramic plates around us while waiters moved carefully between tables carrying trays of expensive food nobody seemed to enjoy anymore. Warm amber lights reflected against the polished wine glasses between us, and all I could do was stare at her face trying to understand whether she had actually lost her mind. Across from me, she didn't blink. Didn't smile. Didn't take it back. Camille sat there in her cream-colored dress with one hand wrapped around her glass of sparkling water while the other rested protectively over her stomach. Her expression was calm. Too calm. Like someone who had rehearsed this moment 100 times before arriving. And beside her sat the little boy. The child quietly coloring inside a dinosaur-themed activity book while occasionally stealing fries from her plate. Dark curls. Big brown eyes. Tiny fingers. Maybe 4 years old. The boy looked absolutely nothing like me. I leaned back slowly in my chair and laughed again, louder this time. You cannot be serious. I am. No, I said, shaking my head. No chance. The waiter approached nervously with our meals, sensing the tension immediately. He placed the plates down carefully before disappearing almost as fast as he arrived. Camille never looked away from me. You disappeared before I could tell you. I scoffed. Disappeared? You left. I left because you cheated on me. Her jaw tightened slightly. Around us, conversations continued, glasses clinked, soft laughter floated through the air, but at our table it felt like oxygen had stopped existing. The boy looked up briefly from his coloring book. Mama, can I get dessert? Her eyes softened instantly as she brushed his curls gently. Maybe later, sweetheart. Then she looked back at me. That's your son. I stared at the kid again. There was nothing of me in him. Nothing. Not the face. Not the skin tone. Not the nose. Nothing. I had spent years around dancers, performers, producers, celebrities, athletes. I had seen every type of manipulation imaginable in the entertainment industry. Women lying about pregnancies. Men hiding secret families. Public scandals carefully managed behind expensive smiles. But this? This was insulting. I leaned forward, lowering my voice. Camille, listen carefully to me. Whatever game you're playing, stop now. I'm not playing. You vanished from my life 4 years ago. You blocked me. I blocked you because I caught you leaving a hotel with another man. Her lips parted slightly, but no words came out immediately. And that alone irritated me even more. Because guilty people always pause before answering. I pushed my untouched plate away. This is unbelievable. The restaurant suddenly felt too warm. My chest tightened beneath my black designer jacket while irritation crawled beneath my skin like fire ants. A couple seated nearby glanced toward us briefly before pretending not to listen. The little boy continued coloring peacefully. Completely unaware that his existence had just detonated a bomb in the middle of my carefully controlled life. I had spent years building that life. Years. People knew my name. Not just in dance circles. Everywhere. Music videos. Award shows. International tours. Television appearances. Social media clips with millions of views. My choreography had become recognizable before my face did. Artists fought to work with me. Studios booked months ahead just to secure one session. My life moved fast. Too fast sometimes. But I liked it that way. Controlled chaos. Bright lights. Loud music. Sweat-soaked rehearsals stretching past midnight. That was my world. Not diapers. Not bedtime stories. Not random children appearing at restaurants claiming my bloodline. Camille inhaled slowly. I didn't come here for money. I laughed again. That's comforting. I'm serious. Then what do you want? Her eyes drifted toward the boy again. I want you to know him. I stared at her like she had spoken another language. Know him? I barely knew who she had become anymore. 4 years earlier, Camille had walked into my dance studio during auditions for a touring performance company. She wasn't a dancer. She worked in event coordination, helping organize production logistics for one of the sponsors. Beautiful didn't even begin to describe her back then. Long braids. Warm caramel skin. Sharp eyes that noticed everything. She had this confidence that pulled people in naturally without trying too hard. The kind of woman who entered a room and somehow shifted the atmosphere around her. And me? I was already becoming successful. Busy. Desired. Distracted. Women came and went from my life like songs on a playlist. But Camille stayed. That was the difference. For nearly 2 years, she stayed. Until everything exploded. The cheating scandal had spread through our circles quickly because the entertainment industry thrived on gossip. One producer spotted her entering a luxury hotel downtown with a wealthy investor known for sleeping with women connected to performers. Pictures circulated. Rumors spread. I confronted her. She denied sleeping with him but admitted meeting him. I didn't believe her. Not for 1 second. And when trust breaks inside a relationship already surviving under pressure, everything collapses fast. I ended things that same night. Blocked her number. Changed studios. Moved apartments. And kept moving forward. Or at least I thought I had. Until now. Until this restaurant. Until this child. Camille reached into her purse slowly and pulled out an envelope. I knew you wouldn't believe me. I didn't touch it. What is that? Open it. No. Please. The word came out softer than expected. Not manipulative. Not dramatic. Tired. I hesitated before finally grabbing the envelope from the table. Inside were photographs. Hospital photos. A newborn wrapped in blue blankets. Another picture showed Camille lying exhausted in a hospital bed holding the baby against her chest. Then another. And another. The dates punched me in the stomach immediately. 4 years ago. Right after our breakup. My laughter disappeared completely. I flipped through them faster now. Doctor forms. Birth records. Medical paperwork. Then finally. A birth certificate. I froze. Under father's name, the space was empty. The restaurant noise faded into the background again. I looked up slowly. If this is real. It is. Why didn't you put anyone's name there? Her voice lowered. Because I knew the only man who could be his father would never believe me. For the first time since sitting down, I couldn't immediately respond. The boy suddenly looked toward me curiously. Our eyes met briefly. Something strange hit me then. Not recognition. Not connection. Just discomfort. Because children have a way of looking at adults without masks. Without politics. Without manipulation. Purely. And for a split second, the kid smiled at me. I looked away first. Camille reached for her purse again. There's something else. My stomach tightened instantly. What now? She slid a folded piece of paper across the table carefully. A laboratory logo sat at the top. I frowned. Then unfolded it. And the moment my eyes scanned the words beneath the header, the entire world around me stopped moving. Because printed clearly across the page were the words. Probability of paternity. And the percentage beneath it made the blood drain from my face. Camille whispered quietly across the table while the child continued coloring beside her. I told you. And at that exact moment, my phone began vibrating violently across the table. I glanced down. The caller ID made my chest tighten instantly. Because the one person calling me repeatedly at that exact moment was someone who should never, ever find out about any of this. Savannah. Sometimes the universe waits until your life feels perfectly balanced before it pushes one finger against the center and watches everything collapse. My phone kept vibrating across the table. Savannah. Again. And again. And again. The bright screen illuminated the tablecloth while my heartbeat pounded so loudly I could barely hear the restaurant anymore. Camille watched my face carefully. Not angry. Not smug. Just observant. The little boy hummed softly to himself while coloring a green dinosaur with complete concentration, utterly disconnected from the storm surrounding him. I looked back down at the paper in my hands. Probability of paternity. The numbers were still there. Still impossible. Still refusing to change no matter how many times my eyes reread them. 99 point something. My throat tightened. No. The word escaped my mouth automatically. Camille exhaled quietly. I already knew you'd react like this. This test is fake. It's not. You expect me to believe this? You asked for proof years ago, she said softly. I finally stopped waiting for you to ask again. I grabbed the paper harder. Who did the test? The clinic is listed there. I don't care what clinic is listed there. My voice had started rising. A nearby couple glanced toward us again. The waiter standing near the bar pretended not to watch while obviously listening. I lowered my voice immediately, jaw clenched tight enough to hurt. This means nothing. It means he's yours. No. It means somebody printed a piece of paper. The phone vibrated again. Savannah. I declined the call immediately. Camille noticed. Does she know about me? I laughed bitterly. She barely knows about half the women people falsely connect me with online every week. Camille nodded slowly. But she doesn't know about this. I didn't answer. Because no. Savannah definitely did not know about this. And if she found out this way, my entire life would detonate publicly before sunrise. Savannah Hale was not just my girlfriend. She was an empire. A global recording artist with the kind of fame that turned ordinary moments into headlines. Cameras followed her everywhere. Blogs analyzed every facial expression. Millions of fans treated her relationship like a public investment. And because of that, by extension, my life had become public too. Interviews. Red carpets. Speculation. Trending topics. People dissected our relationship constantly online. When were we getting married? Who was cheating? Who was controlling who? Who loved harder? The internet treated human beings like television episodes. If you're still watching right now, I have a question for you. Can you already tell exactly how this story will end? Leave a like if you think you know the outcome, and stay till the end to see if your guess was correct. Now let's get back into it. And now suddenly, sitting across from me in a dim restaurant booth, was a woman holding a grenade capable of destroying everything. I folded the paternity results carefully and slid them back into the envelope. This doesn't change anything. Camille's expression flickered slightly for the first time. It changes everything. No, I said firmly. If this child was supposedly mine, you should have handled this 4 years ago. I tried. You disappeared. You blocked every way I could contact you. You could have found me. I did. Something about the way she said it made me pause. My eyes narrowed. What does that mean? She leaned back slowly against the booth. It means I came to your studio. A strange chill crawled down my spine. What? You were rehearsing. I frowned immediately. No, I would remember that. You never saw me. The restaurant suddenly felt colder. Camille looked toward the window beside us as rain began tapping softly against the glass outside. You had security remove me before I could even reach the lobby. My stomach dropped slightly. Because that actually sounded possible. As my popularity exploded, studios had become chaotic. Fans appeared unexpectedly. Gossip bloggers lurked outside rehearsal spaces. Security handled most interruptions before they ever reached me. I swallowed slowly. When was this? About 2 months after we broke up. I tried remembering. Faces. Events. Rehearsals. Tours. Everything blurred together from that period of my life because success had accelerated so fast back then. Days melted into airports, interviews, rehearsals, performances, afterparties, brand deals, exhaustion. Camille continued quietly. I kept trying after that. Why stop? Her eyes drifted downward briefly. Because eventually I realized you didn't want us. The word us landed differently than expected. Not dramatic. Not accusatory. Just sad. The boy suddenly tugged her sleeve. Mama, I'm sleepy. Her entire face softened instantly again. Okay, sweetheart. She brushed his curls gently while he rubbed his eyes. And I hated myself for noticing how natural she looked doing it. How comfortable. How practiced. Because while she had apparently been raising a child all these years, I had been choreographing award show performances and arguing with stylists over stage lighting. 2 completely different universes. The boy looked toward me again sleepily. You're tall. I blinked. What? You're really tall. Camille almost smiled. He notices height immediately. I stared awkwardly at the kid. Thanks. I'm gonna be tall too, he announced proudly. Something inside my chest shifted unpleasantly. I looked away again. No. Absolutely not. I refused to let myself emotionally react to this situation before certainty existed. Anybody could fake papers. Anybody. I leaned forward firmly. I want another test. Camille nodded immediately. Fine. The speed of her answer caught me off guard. No hesitation. No argument. No offense. Just immediate agreement. And somehow that scared me more. You already knew I'd ask that too, didn't you? Yes. Because you're that confident? Because I know the truth. The waiter approached carefully. Would anyone like dessert? Nobody answered. The awkward silence stretched long enough for him to regret asking. Or, maybe coffee? No, I said quickly. Camille shook her head gently. The waiter disappeared again. Outside, rain intensified against the windows while headlights streaked across the wet streets beyond the restaurant. I rubbed both hands across my face slowly. This couldn't be happening. Not now. Not when everything in my career was finally stabilizing. Not when Savannah's management team was already pressuring us toward engagement rumors for publicity ahead of her upcoming tour documentary. Not when brands were investing millions into our combined image. A child? A secret child? The internet would tear us apart. Savannah alone would probably. My phone vibrated again. This time a message appeared. Where are you? Then another immediately after. The blogs are posting weird photos. Call me now. Every muscle in my body froze. Slowly. Very slowly. I looked up at Camille. She noticed the exact second panic entered my face. What happened? I didn't answer immediately. Instead, I opened social media. And the moment the app refreshed, my stomach dropped straight through the floor. Someone had photographed us entering the restaurant. Not just me and Camille. Me. Camille. And the child. The headline was already spreading across entertainment blogs at terrifying speed. Famous choreographer spotted in secret family dinner? Who is the mystery child? Is there trouble in paradise with Savannah Hale? My pulse exploded. No. Camille grabbed her phone immediately too. Oh my god. The images weren't even clear, but clarity didn't matter online. People created truth from speculation every single day. Comments were multiplying by the second. Theories. Accusations. Memes. Savannah's fan pages were already reposting the story. I stood up abruptly from the booth. We need to leave. Now. The boy startled awake slightly. Camille looked shaken for the first time all night. I didn't call anyone. I know that. Do you? I stopped moving. The question hit hard. Because honestly, at that moment I didn't know what to believe anymore. Not about her. Not about the child. Not even about myself. The restaurant entrance suddenly became louder. Voices. Excited voices. Then flashes of light burst through the front glass windows. Cameras. My blood ran cold instantly. Paparazzi. Already here. Too fast. Way too fast. Which meant someone had tipped them off before the photos even hit the blogs. Camille stood up quickly, pulling the sleepy child closer protectively. What do we do? Another flash exploded through the window. Then another. People inside the restaurant started turning fully toward us now. Phones lifted. Whispers spreading rapidly. I cursed under my breath. The manager rushed toward us nervously. Sir, there are photographers outside asking questions. Of course there were. That was how this world worked. The second fame smelled blood, it hunted. The little boy suddenly tightened his tiny grip around Camille's hand. Mama, what's happening? And before either of us could answer him, one of the photographers outside shouted loud enough to pierce through the restaurant doors. Is that your son? Every single head inside the restaurant turned toward me simultaneously. And Camille's terrified expression told me something even worse before she finally whispered it. There's something I haven't told you yet. The worst moments in life are never the loud ones. Not the screaming. Not the fighting. Not even the public humiliation. The worst moments are the quiet seconds immediately before disaster fully reveals itself. Those few breaths where your instincts warn you that everything is about to get much worse. That was exactly what I felt staring at Camille inside that restaurant while camera flashes exploded outside like lightning. There's something I haven't told you yet. My chest tightened instantly. No. The word came out sharp. Firm. Warning. Whatever she was about to say, I already hated it. The little boy pressed himself closer against her side nervously as more voices rose outside the entrance. People inside the restaurant had completely stopped pretending not to stare now. Phones floated above tables recording openly while whispers spread across the room like wildfire. That's him. Is that Savannah's boyfriend? Who's the kid? Oh my god. The manager hovered nearby looking terrified about the situation unfolding inside his expensive establishment. I grabbed my jacket immediately. We're leaving. Camille didn't move. What didn't you tell me? Her eyes flickered toward the child briefly before returning to me. My stomach twisted harder. No. Not because I knew. Because I was afraid to know. Another burst of flashes exploded through the windows. The boy covered his eyes. Mama. Camille knelt quickly beside him, holding his face gently. It's okay, sweetheart. But it clearly wasn't okay. Not even close. The child looked frightened now. Confused. Small. And suddenly the reality of cameras swarming around a 4-year-old hit me differently than before. This wasn't some celebrity scandal anymore. There was a child involved. A real one. Not a headline. Not gossip. Not content for blogs. A child. I ran one frustrated hand across my face while security from the restaurant approached cautiously. Sir, we can escort you through the kitchen exit. Yes, I said immediately. Camille stood up again slowly. We can't leave yet. I stared at her in disbelief. What do you mean we can't leave? She swallowed. He knows about you. The words landed like a punch directly to my chest. Everything around me slowed. The rain outside. The camera flashes. The music. The voices. All of it suddenly felt distant. I looked at the little boy. Then back at her. What? Camille looked exhausted now. Not physically. Emotionally. Like somebody who had spent years carrying something too heavy alone. He's known about you for a long time. That's impossible. It's not. You told him I'm his father? Her silence answered before she did. Anger exploded through me instantly. What the hell were you thinking? A few people nearby visibly reacted to my raised voice. Camille lowered hers immediately. I didn't plan to. Then why would you do that? Because children ask questions. The pain in her voice cut sharply through my anger for half a second. Then she continued. He kept asking why he didn't have a father around him like other kids. I opened my mouth. Closed it again. Because honestly. What response existed for that? She laughed bitterly under her breath. You think this was easy for me? The boy looked between us nervously now, sensing tension without understanding it fully. I lowered my voice again. So what exactly did you tell him? Camille hesitated. Then quietly said the words that made my pulse stumble. I told him you dance. My breathing stopped briefly. No. No, no, no. That's all? At first. At first? She looked away. The answer was already on her face before she spoke. Over the past 4 years. The child had slowly learned more. Little things. That his father worked with music artists. That people knew his father online. That his father traveled constantly. That his father created performances seen by millions. My stomach sank deeper with every sentence. You showed him pictures? Her silence confirmed it. I laughed once. But this time there was no humor in it. Only disbelief. You built an entire image of me inside his head. I didn't lie. You didn't tell the truth either. What truth? She snapped quietly. That his father hated us? The word struck harder than expected. Because no matter how angry I felt, part of me knew how this looked from her side. A woman raising a child alone while the father vanished. Except I hadn't known. Had I? A dangerous thought suddenly entered my mind. What if she really had tried harder to reach me back then? My chest tightened immediately at the possibility. No. I pushed the thought away instantly. Because believing that opened doors I wasn't emotionally prepared to walk through. The story continues in part 2, which is already available on the channel. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.